Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Hey everybody, this is Aside of Tilt. This is our third episode. I'm your host, Matt.
I'm your other co-host, Anthony Tran. And last week we discussed having another co-host, which is joining us today, actually.
Hi, my name's Raymond. I'm the editor of the videos and the guy in charge of our social media. And I guess I'm now part of the podcast.
Ray's part of the squad now. We got three members.
We're getting hyphy in here.
Yeah, now I do everything, so I get a larger split than these guys.
Ray is slightly sus, though.
A larger split of 0, so we're good.
All right, so let's start it off. What is our first topic today, Tran?
So in our first episode, it was just Matt and I, and we discussed our kind of favorite game and kind of most influential game. And I kind of want to go that way with Ray and kind of get his take. And so I think the first, question mainly towards Ray is, what would you say is like your favorite game that you played over the years?
I think my favorite game of all time, and I know it's like not the greatest game, but it probably has to be Modern Warfare 2. I invested a lot of time in that game, and
that's respectable. Yeah, that is a respectable game.
That's like I have a real passion toward first-person shooters, just because I don't have the attention span to play like MMOs and RPGs, and I like the competitive aspect to games. So Modern Warfare 2 was definitely like what kind of pulled me in further into that scene.
I think I know lots of people who Modern Warfare 2 was like their jam. Lawrence was that way. I remember TJ and Tashib would be like, I don't go to bed till I get a nuke.
Yeah, no, we would play with them for hours just on our Xbox, just sitting there. I'd
be more like, I'm not going to bed till I get a single kill, and then I wouldn't go to bed. So that's how good I was.
Forte, huh?
I'm fucking trash at first-person shooters, man. I don't know what it is.
I know, I've seen it.
Yikes! Yeah, I remember playing Modern Warfare 2. It was definitely one of those games that I actually loved too. It was around that era, like when online gaming was like kind of exploding, and so getting the whole competitive aspect of it was just different than what your regular games was back in the day, I think.
Yep. You know what this reminds me of is how when we first hung out, Tran, you were like a Halo 2 god.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what introduced me into online play a lot. I think during that time, we started becoming friends in 7th grade. So I was also playing World of Warcraft then, but that was like 7th grade me was like first walking into the doors of like online play. Like, I mean, I got like some seriously good friends from MMOs and online games. In one of the guys I did the World of Warcraft with, he named his son's middle name Matthew.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think it was specifically after me, but I think they had conversations and they're like, oh, Matt's a good name. And then they knew that was my real name because we were also friends on MySpace back then. So, and I also remember going, probably a bad idea, but I'm still alive didn't get a rapid. Went snowboarding with two guys who were in my guild in World of Warcraft. They picked up me and my friend Wilson when we were in, I think at that time, 8th grade. They flew into Reno to go snowboarding because Reno's very famous for its snowboarding and stuff like that. Came by and picked me up. I told my dad that I'm going snowboarding with some friends, which is not a lie.
But still really sus.
You could have been
super sus. Bad, man. But, I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, and I think anyone else who has played has played a game with someone for years, and yeah, there's always that crazy story of that guy or that person being super, like, sus, you know. I knew they were, like, good people. Just like how Dutran you invited, like, a couple friends to your wedding without ever knowing them, too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I look back at it, and especially because, like, you know, eventually I want to be a dad, too. That's there's no way I let my kid do that. That's fucking nuts. To let my kid have, at that time, I think I'm older than the people who picked me up then, but I think they're like 25. Come by and pick up, what, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds to go snowboarding? Fucking nuts.
I don't think Chris Hansen would have approved that.
No, bad. It's all super sus. Super sus. But I had a blast with snowboarding with the North Star. Had a good time. It was
But that goes to the conversation of like, you know, online communities and like, you know, at that young age, it's like, I mean, at least for maybe myself, I was just, you know, playing video games all the time. So any human interaction I had was online basically, right? But back in my Halo 2 days, I mean, I must have been playing like at least like 14 hours a day or something like that. I was just on that game all day. And I made really, really great friends, and I still talk to them to this day. And like I consider them as like, you know, one of my really close friends, even though like I've only met them like maybe a couple times, but you know, we're always down to jam games, and it's like, it's really great to see, you know, like online. Well, it is most situations, online communities are really great. Yeah,
Unless we're talking about League of Legends is fucking tilting, which is what we named this podcast after, is how much tilting League of Legends is. I don't want to get into that.
The Modern Warfare 2 lobbies weren't exactly the friendliest. Let me tell you.
I think Modern Warfare 2 was the epitome of the tilting, like, I fucked your mom, like that kind of shit.
With the open voice channel and just like the accessibility, because it was console, you just had a bunch of people who.
Yeah, the good old Xbox Live lobbies. Yeah.
I don't think Microsoft understood like what they opened up, because World of Warcraft had actually a very good community. It was very like helpful. I remember begging for gold and people being like, "Here's 10 gold. Good luck, young guy. Go get your mount." Like, if like you had that same community of Modern Warfare, but put that into World of Warcraft, and I went, "Can I get 10 gold?" Oh my god, it would have been like, "I'm gonna fuck your mother with that 10 gold after I kill her, and then I'm gonna stab you. Where do you live?" It would have been terrible. You could have been like, "Oh my god!"
That's the difference between like the first person shooters and the competitive game, is that it's a free for all, because you're all just against each other, and you're not like, you can't really help anybody, right? Like, there's no point. You're just out there to.
But you know, I think
one another.
I think, you know, being verbally abused like that in such an early age, you know, build some character, you know, and give you some suffering.
Absolutely needed. Everyone needs to get.
Absolutely needed. Exactly.
Everyone needs a 12-year-old to tell you that they're gonna fuck your mother, or no, that they have fucked your mother.
Yes.
Listen, I got bullied growing up, and then after Modern Warfare 2, like, I was just kind of unbothered by a lot of things. You know, it's just.
I've heard worse things. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I've had people tell me to kill myself many times, and you know,
it's like when the jock picks on you, like, "I'm gonna beat you up after school." You're like, "But you're not gonna fuck my mom, right?" And he's like, "What?" You're like, "Oh, that's fine. You can beat me up." Like, you're not even like, you're like, "Oh, it's fine."
Yeah, now it's just 1v1 me and Russ. Man. Yeah, you know.
Come see me, baby.
Yeah.
Defend myself.
You could take flame as kind of a compliment, but, you know, like, I was so good, I tilted this guy off the face of the earth, and he's telling me he's gonna fuck my mom, you know, kind of thing.
Yep.
No. As long as you're, you know, I could imagine your mom hearing that though. Tran, who's gonna fuck me, Tran?
Yeah.
Yikes. Okay.
That's what your mom sounds like. I'm sorry. I love your mom.
That's rude as fuck, man.
Taught me how to make garlic shrimp. Never forget it.
She makes some good pho, man.
Oof, yo.
Oh man, I got some homemade pho over the weekend because my wife is amazing and knows how to make it now. So
well, she's
okay.
Yeah, she's Asian, so.
lucky man.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So that's your favorite game. What do you think is your most influential game that has the most impact on the gaming community? Whether it be like competitive or like maybe it defines like a genre of like kind of gaming or anything like that.
Honestly, man, I think I'm stuck between like Mario Kart and Halo. Just because like Mario Kart was like one of the first games I ever had. Like, I kind of grew up poor, so I didn't have like the opportunity to play a lot of games. And I think one of the first games that my mom got me was Mario Kart.
Mario Kart N64 is my first game as well.
Yeah, Mario Kart N64, and then just Mario N64.
Mario Kart Super NES. Yeah. What are you guys doing, man? That was the classic.
No.
Poor Tran.
And I like just between that and like Halo was like my first introduction into first-person shooters and like LANs and just like playing with other people, you know, in games. Like outside of Mario Kart, you know, I had some people over, but that's kind of what got me, is just, I don't know, going out and being able to murder people in a video game.
Going one more. Going
Yeah,
one more
be
level,
specific.
Going one more level above like just Mario Kart, like the whole like that like with like that Mario franchise back in the day of what what was on the 64 was like what Mario Party and like was Mario 64, which was like the the single player like whatever game, and then Mario Kart. It's like that whole like they jumped into a bunch of genres and they kind of defined like a lot of the games that are like
I
kind of based off
mean,
of today, right?
old school Nintendo, especially the Mario genre, made the best games and the most classic games ever. You could come over, pop on an N64, shove in fucking Super Smash Bros., shove in Mario Kart, shove in Rogue Squadron, like the old one. You could shove in Mario Party and Mario 64, and I would not be like, what is this? I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do this. I would be pumped. Yep. Like, there's so many games that old school had that they crushed it, dude. Like, that was back then was the epitome of gaming, was an N64 and like those games. GoldenEye, like, it's so good, dude. You just can't compare anymore. I mean, I'm not saying, the games now are awesome, don't get me wrong. Like, if they came out with like those games now, you'd be like, what is this? This is trash. But I mean, back then it was fucking awesome, and I would play those games right now. I've played Ocarina of Time so many times. Like it's been probably like 3 years, maybe 4 years, but I can just remember being like, I'm gonna play Ocarina of Time. I had my N64, which, by the way, I want to talk about one thing. They built shit to last back then. My N64 still fucking works. There's no red ring of death or any bullshit. I spent a whole glass of apple juice all over it while it was on. Same N64 works to this day. You just pop.
Yep. There's definitely pristine. I can hear a coin in my N64. Like if you shake it, you can hear a coin in there, and it still works. Like that happened like when I first got it, and it's just.
That's what
it works, you know?
Yeah, it's so weird that like technology's advanced. Like it's advanced so far since back then, but yet everything has a shelf life. Maybe it's made that way, or is it because technology is like kind of built around that?
I think it's both. I think that the Xbox 360 was for sure a classic example of a prefabricated shelf life because the glue. So I got the red ring of death. My friend in high school was like, I get paid to fix that, and I was like, okay, but he was my friend, so he's like, I'll do it for free, and I'll show you how. So we went through all this stuff, and he was like, so what happens is after you play your game, the glue it uses can only go up to a certain amount of a certain temperature. And you reach that temperature after like a few hours of gaming. Most people who are hardcore gamers are going to reach that day one. He goes, it doesn't break immediately, but over the course of time, it starts to break the glue that like motherboard apparently held onto, and it breaks off. So he goes, then what you have to do is that he like built in a fan and like re-glued it, and you just make it this continual air that kind of goes through and makes it good. So they basically put in like shitty fucking stuff that doesn't last forever. That's what it is. I mean, end of the day, that's all it is. If we could send people to the moon in the fucking 60s, no reason that they would be like, shit, man, let's build in they built in a thing that tells you your system broke. That means they knew it happened, and instead of figuring out how to fix it, they were like, well, let's just, like, put in a system that knows when it broke, and we'll know. 3 rings is you're fucked. 2 is like, well, maybe you could fix it.
And then you're fucked after that.
All 4 blinking nuclear holocaust. Like, so, yeah, it's definitely, I think Microsoft got a bad name for it, because now you don't really get that anymore. I haven't heard of really anyone needing a new Xbox One or a new PS4. I know new systems, when they first come out, there's lots of bugs and shit. Sometimes you got to get a new one, which is also why I'm not getting a PS5 or a Xbox X or S, whatever it is, immediately. I'm not going to buy an Xbox anyways, but I'm not going to buy a PS5 immediately. I'm probably at least going to wait a year before I get that.
That's the same thing with the new graphics cards. All the aftermarket cards are having issues with crashing and stuff like that, just because of the way they're built. So yeah, just manufacturer error, trying to get extra money.
They have a deadline.
Yeah,
they cut costs, at certain areas, and just what happens. Yeah.
Yep.
When you're mass producing that many stuff and cutting costs in one area is gonna do a lot for the overall picture, but the product itself is gonna take a hit.
Yeah. All right. So I like the influential game. I like the best game. What do we got next? I think.
Well,
That's
I
kind of
think,
all we went over with each other for how we introduced. So I think we can go into some actual like topics or whatever we want, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to transition into talking about Squadrons, which just came out a couple days ago, or something like that.
Yesterday.
Matt has been our main Star Wars guy, and I know he's already super excited and jazzed and ready to talk about this. So,
This guy was late for the podcast playing Squadron. By the way, so I just want to let you know he's
That's how
he's
excited
ready.
he
Yeah,
is.
he's
Couple minutes.
excited.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I was not able. So right now I'm going through a bunch of stuff in my life. We're rebuilding a kitchen, and then I had a work thing today. Anyways, point is, I didn't get to play for 15 hours yesterday like I was fucking planning on, and I didn't get to play really at all today until I came home, did some shit in the kitchen because remodeling it, and then I immediately started playing Squadrons. It's a little there's some slight bugs I've noticed, like when you're doing the quest. But overall, I think it's an amazing game. The gameplay's cool. I've really only played about an hour so far, but it's very interesting how the controls are. Like you control the ship left, right, up, down, turning the ship kind of like this with your mouse. Clicking is your lasers. A and D is rotation. W and S is your throttle, so W forward, S slow down. You have a lot of control in your ship. You can control your laser power, your shields. You can like divert power to your lasers, divert power to your shields, divert power to your
diverting power.
Yeah,
to
that.
So you have a,
then you
you have a
can
resource.
man.
yes.
A
Then you
power
can
resource?
balance it. You can like in pod racing, you can like kind of fix your ship a little bit. You can do that too. Very fun. I just started the X, so you start off as a TIE fighter. Then you go to the next part of the story, which is now you're an X-Wing. I just started that, and that was really cool. X-Wing's a lot more, just like in canon, it's a lot more like heavy duty. So you can go hyper speed. You can go pretty fast. Not as fast as a TIE fighter, and your firepower is pretty strong. But anyways, it encompasses everything. You feel like when you're in a TIE fighter, you're just a badass, like. Glass cannon.
Shooting shit down,
yeah, you're shooting shit down. In an X-Wing, you're like, you could take a bunch of shots and you can go pretty fast, and a lot of good stuff going on. So it's very fun. I cannot divulge too much about the story. I don't want to ruin anything because it just came out. I have only about an hour.
Have you only participated in the story?
Only story. I am playing in veteran mode, which is second. Or the not the hardest, but the one before that. So like it's like hard, whereas the other one would be like expert or whatever. I guess in old school ranking. So far it's very fun. I've already caught a few bugs though. There's a story like it's like follow this person. The person doesn't fucking move anywhere. They're just sitting there. And you're like, where are we going?
You followed him, man.
Yeah,
That was it.
I think I followed this person doing nothing for like 10 minutes. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then right when I got my X-Wing, it was like, divert power to your shields. And you just push one button. And then like I waited like 2 minutes and it was like, divert power to this. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that took forever. But the game is very fun. And I'm assuming I'm not a programmer, but I'm pretty sure those are easy tweaks to fix real quick. So overall, very pumped about that. I guess so. Yeah, I recommend if you liked the space fighting games in Star Wars Battlefront 2 old school PS2 version, you'll love this game. This game is sick.
Do you plan on hitting multiplayer at all? Or no.
Oh yeah. I think
multiplayer is like a 5v5 dogfight, basically, right?
Something like that.
Is it just a deathmatch, or do you know if there's like objectives for it, or is there different game modes too?
I'm sure. I haven't really looked into it. I think there's like you have the Star Destroyer or Imperial, that kind of stuff. Like protect that, so you have live. I saw a deathmatch where there's like multiple lives. I think it's to whoever destroys the other battleship, basically. So I forgot what the rebels, but yeah, I guess the rebels in this game. I forgot what the rebels have, but the Empire have the Star Destroyer. So you go destroy that, and then the other one's like the weird oblong, like weird ship, that Akbar uses. So, but very fun. Huh?
Very fun.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna do that for sure. Once I get the grasp of the game, I'm still more like. So I'm getting more like. So I'm like holding W the whole time, trying to go fast, and I'm like, wait. I don't have to do that because if you go W, it goes like say 150 is your max speed. You don't have to hold it. You can do tap 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 tap
It just sets your.
It sets it. So which is nice.
It's an acceleration, but
and it stays. So it's like imagine you have a throttle and you just push it up and it stays that way. You can go down a little bit, down some more. You can push tap W and S at the same time and it immediately goes halfway speed. So you don't have to hold it is what I'm learning, which it feels weird, but I think it able to give you a lot more accessibility. You can just tap W real quick, and then you can T to target someone and F to cycle through, and Q. You have a lot more accessibility with your fingers now, so you don't have to hold something. So it's good. W, you want to slam down your throttle to get away from someone. You want to slow it down if you want to do a quick, slow turn real quick so you can shoot someone down. So I'm trying to just get the angles of the game before I go into online because I'm pretty sure there's already people who played 24 hours straight and are pros and are going to murder me. Yeah, there's already smoking on people.
There's some sweaties already.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want to get on there and just get blasted and be like, okay, cool. So.
If you run into something, do you immediately die? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're good. I haven't ran anything yet, so...
Don't fucking lie to me like that, bro.
Swear to God.
You haven't died yet? No. Is there like a leveling system for your ship or like an upgrade system or how does the progression work?
I think you can upgrade.
Not very far in it.
I think you can upgrade your ship. I remember seeing it in like some trailer, like a breakdown of the game. Like you can do this. This is like when EA was showcasing it. But I can't confirm that. I don't remember. I think I remember seeing that though.
Better guns or something, get better blasters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can customize your ship. I just can't guarantee that. And I don't know if you can do that in story mode only or if it's in multiplayer only or both. But let me play some more and I'll figure it out. I'll let you know. Or people who are listening, you just look it up your fucking self.
Because we're too lazy, obviously.
Yeah, we can't look it up. We can't look it right now. Anyways. So speaking of Star Wars, lots of new Star Wars things have been coming out. We already knew that we were going to do more back in time kind of Star Wars era, and now Disney has announced basically that the High Republic is going to be the new movies and films and books that are going to be coming out. Quick discussion about that. High Republic is set 400 years before the Clone Wars, so before the prequels, 400 years before that. So it's basically no more Skywalkers, none of that no Han Solo, none of that. I love the Skywalkers, but personally for me, I don't want to get into much of a discussion over the newest movies because I know that's been hammered onto for a long time. I think Return of the Jedi should have been the end, and they should have always already gone to the Old Republic or the High Republic, something like that. Or and that being said, like Rogue One was a great movie, and I thought Solo was very fun. I thought the trilogies were hit and miss. So anyways, High Republic, 400 years. Rumors are it's going to be young Yoda, which is a smart move, I think, by Disney, as everyone is so obsessed by the baby Yoda, which is not technically a baby Yoda. It's just whatever race that is. I don't want to get too much into that. But the child, I think that's what they call it in canon. People are obsessed with that. So people love Yoda. He's the most mysterious character. George Lucas never divulged any information regarding the race, anything about him, and neither has Disney so far. So I think we're slowly going to learn more about him. What were you going to say, Tran?
So was this just an announcement recently? Or have they already been in progress of stuff?
I think it's been... So it has always been rumored, especially for a while now, that they were going to do... I think the rumor before was Old Republic, which Old Republic is 1,000 years before, a Clone Wars. So all that, all the Skywalker saga, 1,000 years before that, and that's what a lot of the video games are built on, like Old Republic, with Darth Revan and all that kind of stuff.
I was just wondering more of like with the idea of of doing this, and you said it was because everyone's obsessed with Baby Yoda right now, and they want to do like the younger, the early years of Yoda and see how this. But I was just wondering in relation to when they announced or they announced they were doing this in comparison to like when Mandalorian.
I'm sure this has been in the playbooks. I'm sure. So Disney's making all of this. So I'm pretty sure they have a fucking just, web on a whiteboard being like, because, okay, let's go deep.
This is our next area we're going to go into.
There's so much stuff that they can go off.
So let's go deep. Okay, so Clone Wars really went in, or the cartoon stories, Clone Wars and Rebels, really went more in deep into the Mandalorians. So now we learn more about the Mandalorians. You get the dark saber, all that kind of stuff. You learn more about the Mandalorian wars with the Jedi and the Mandalorians and the Sith, which is during the Old Republic era. But anyways, you learn a lot about that, and that's always kind of been like, we don't, about it, but you don't know like all of the information like the Skywalker. So you know everything about them. So now you get the show, The Mandalorian. Mandalorian is going to be after the return of the Jedi, I believe. So after the fall of the Empire, technically, and all this shit's going down. You're learning a lot more about the Mandalorians. End of the season. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet, go fuck yourself. It's been out for a long time. The guy, forgot his name, has a dark saber, and which is a big kind of thing in the lore of the Mandalorians and all that kind of stuff. If you watch the Clone Wars, that's also in that too, which has been out for many years. Anyways, going on. The new season of Mandalorian is going to feature Jedi, and in the trailer it hints, you want me to deliver the child to people who killed all our people 1,000 years ago, whatever like that. He kind of hints at that. Now you have the High Republic 400 years ago, which is based after the Old Republic, and the Old Republic was during the time that the Mandalorians were decimated, the Sith were destroyed, the Rule of Two became a thing, and now it's when the Old Republic, because the Old Republic, the Jedi lost, the Sith destroyed each other, the Jedi came back, beat the Mandalorians, beat the Sith, boom, kind of got High Republic, and I think it's going to go connect with the lore of the Mandalorian, connect with the lore of like Darth Bane and Plagueis and the Rule of Two and Yoda, kind of connecting everything together almost with the Sith and the lore of the Jedi in general. Because there's a lot of more lore that kind of came out in the sequels, which I think they could have done a lot better, but they fucked it up. Not gonna talk about that. Salty. Anyways, so that's kind of how that goes. I know they're taking a lot of. I'm sure they're gonna take a lot of stuff from the now extended universe, which had its whole story of way past Skywalkers. Because even the newest 789 had Ben and a lot of certain people dying, and that happened actually in the books as well too. So they're definitely taking some kind of stuff from that as well. So it should be very interesting. I think this is the approach Disney should have taken all along, is going back in time instead of forward, because now you just introduce all new characters, and throwing in Yoda isn't a big deal because we don't even know anything about the little green shit anyways. Like, it's not like, no one had, like, people love Yoda, but they don't have, like, this, you can't have a preconceived notion of what Yoda is and does. Yes, whereas Luke Skywalker, you had, like, he was set in stone, man, and things that were happen, people were very upset about, which I understand. Same thing with Han Solo and Leia and whatever. People got upset, and they should have seen that, but yeah, especially and I will say the Star Wars community is very toxic. You are not going to please everyone. Everyone's always upset. But so I guess basically we're going to find out more information because the movies won't be out for a while. I think it's a few years before the first movie comes out. We'll probably learn more information through The Mandalorian. Any other things are coming up, but I think it's The Light of the Jedi is going to be the first book that is going to be coming out that has been announced. That is going to basically dive into the story. So just kind of like 789, there were books associated with that, which I also read. It will kind of help introduce some of that stuff into it. So if you're big into Star Wars, stay tuned for Light of the Jedi, because that's going to be a brand new lore basically, and it should be very exciting.
So I kind of watched just kind of like a little trailer for the High Republic, and it looked like they were gonna focus more on like a group of heroes and like Jedi's on the Outer Rim, as their like main focus, and then they'd continuously like add more characters to the stuff. Is there anything like you'd want to see in terms of like a character introduced, or just kind of like any type of lore, like Sith lore that you'd want to see. Because the Sith at that point were kind of regrouping and trying to working in the shadows.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of leading up to the events of
So
the Star Wars now.
I don't. So as far as I'm concerned, it's always Old Republic's been a very big thing, and I don't know too much about the High Republic, and I'd have to dive in some more. And I think that's what's exciting about this is that there's not like a whole bunch of shit about the High Republic.
You're excited to see like what the
so I guess for me, I think it's a great idea to have Yoda and to divulge more information about him. I don't think it should be him as the main character, though. I think they should do exactly what all the other movies have done and has him as a really great, amazing support character. I think they should just do a very unique main character and maybe characters, heroes, and really revolve around Jedi and Sith lore specifically. I don't think it should... I don't want to see a rehashed Rebel versus Empire. I want to see a very specific like shit going down between the religions. That's what they are of those. I think it'd be weird to have Darth Bane being the main bad guy, considering he's Old Republic. He is 1,000 years ago. Now I know he has the ancient Sith knowledge and made the rule of two, and apparently he created the knowledge to help die down living forever and blah 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 blah. But I don't think it would make sense now. Darth Plagueis and maybe people before him, that would be interesting. You could throw in a little Darth Plagueis. I know 400 years is still a long time, but to even throw in someone that even maybe taught him, or one of Bane's apprentices come out would be good too. I also just heard 3 days ago that there are rumors that they're going to do featured either books or films or something regarding Darth Bane. So yeah. I think what they're going to do is they're going to go some Bane stuff, like kind of how they did like these. They did like 7, Rogue One, 8, Solo, 9, whatever. I think they're going to be like, they may do, some books. If you're really big into it, you can read it. They're going to make it to you don't have to read it, but if you're a Star Wars guy like me, you'll probably will. And then they'll do, I guess I can't think of movie. It'd be its own movie numbers, so we'll just pretend it's a brand new trilogy. 1, Bane, 2, I don't know, Plagueis. Who knows? I mean, that would make sense. Who fucking knows? That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna have a bunch of movies come out every year again. I just hope that by doing that, they don't. I think people got burnt out from the Star Wars, but I think the only reason they got burnt out was because it was just like. The main thing I think with the trilogy is initially they had 3 different directors planning basically one story. A trilogy is one story. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be like if you had Lord of the Rings, Fellowship, Two Towers, and the Return of the King directed by Peter Jackson, then fucking some other guy, then Steven Spielberg. Everyone has their own idea of what they want, and it probably wouldn't have collided into a one singular story, and I hope they don't do that again. I hope that they just go, Ray, you're the guy, make the fucking movies of this, and hey, Tran, you want to make the 2 movies in between that? Cool. This is what we're going for. Go for it. You know what I mean? But
that seems like it would be the better idea. It seems like so weird, that you have like a trilogy that's like supposed to be a cohesive story directed by like different people with different ideas, right?
Yeah,
it's like, it seems so weird.
It doesn't go well.
Yeah, I tell people all the time. Last Jedi, which is the one that really upset everyone, isn't a bad. It's a great standalone movie. Unfortunately, it's not a standalone movie. It's a sequel, and a fucking terrible sequel at that. Because you have a story that's progressing, and then they're just like, psych! And then the guy who made the first movie comes back for the third one, and it's like, double psych, we're back. It's like, they should have just either been like, okay, well, that took a twist. Rian Johnson, keep on going. You're making the third one. Or just been like J.J. Abrams, you're making all of them. They haven't, or at least they should have been like, had the executive come in and be like, no, you're all working fucking together on this. We're not fucking doing that kind of crazy shit. I think they were just like, go at it, Star Wars. I think they literally where like everyone loves Star Wars, you can do no wrong, and
Yeah, exactly. They were probably like, yeah, you could literally just put shit on the screen, you'd be alright.
They need something though, just to
get
them there, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, bro, people hated the sequels so much they think the prequels are amazing movies now. That's where we are. Okay. And I actually am a fan of the prequels because I was very young when they came out. I do see the plot holes and the issues with it, but like pod racing was sick as fuck. Darth Maul in that fight was really cool.
Darth Maul was
I will
the
say
highlight
it,
of that movie,
I would say it. Yeah, Phantom Menace was a great movie. I think it had some bad acting and some writing, which I think all three of them did. But I think the second one, Attack of Clones, is pretty bad. The only good part of that movie was seeing Yoda fight for the first time, which like really like if that was an F movie, then they threw in Yoda fighting. It went to like it literally went to a C. That's how much Yoda fighting helped.
Hopefully, High Republic doesn't lean on Yoda that hard. You know.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's a really. I hope they just keep that motherfucker super mysterious at all times. Because you do too much, man, you're gonna disappoint people by keeping him just like young cat that comes in and fights people as a Jedi Knight back in the day before he was a master. I think you're keeping it pretty solid.
I think knowing about his race would be kind of cool, but maybe not necessary his entire 600 lifespan. You know, just like everything he did. You know.
Yeah, you don't want to go too deep because you're going to disappoint people. You want to just keep it very mysterious, and that's good. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Let's kind of wait. Go on.
So if the first movie is terrible, we should expect some insane Yoda scene in the second one, right?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Yeah, maybe an appearance from Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Yoda's
wouldn't even make sense.
Yoda will take his lightsaber out, and then a baby Yoda will come out of it.
His lightsaber is a Baby Yoda. That's the shade.
Yeah, just total crowd appeasal. So, all right. Well, I think that's pretty good in Star Wars. Unless you guys have more questions for me, I can try to answer anything. But
no, I just hope they delve into some more of the Sith background, because we didn't really get kind of like Sith lore and kind of any of that from Star Wars. It's very mysterious, and during those years I think was a very important part in establishing like the movies that we have now, you know, because they were working in the shadows, and it'd be kind of cool to see how like the Chancellor made its way up, you know, and the upbringings of the Sith during that time, because we never get that. We really don't. They just introduce the Sith Lord and
if you don't know Star Wars lore, like if you don't read the books or the comics and like go to Wikipedia and all that kind of shit, you're just like, all right, so I guess the Sith are like bad guys, but they also have lightsabers. But Jedi is a religion? Like what? Yeah. It's kind of confusing.
Why is there only 2 Sith? Like
like what's the rule of 2? Why? You know, I think it leaves a lot of questions. So I think they just kind of like this. They really just have to take information from the books, put some cool fight scenes in there, and just not make it like very cliche, and just kind of just make it a good story. Disney can make good movies, man. They're just like, I think they just need to kind of fall back a little bit and chill.
They've been trying to do some crazy shit too much, right?
They're doing too much.
Yeah.
So, all right, what we got next?
Cool. Well, I think I don't know if you guys want to talk about the league play-ins.
Sure.
So since our last episode, last week, the play-ins happened, and so this week we're starting the group stages, and so the teams that ended up advancing. Spoiler, by the way, the teams that ended up advancing from play-ins was Unicorns of Love and PSG, and then Team Liquid, and then LGD was the 4 teams that came from the play-ins. And now they're in groups, and so
first day groups happened.
First day group happened overnight, because we're not in China right now.
Can we talk about the play-ins first before we talk about the games today?
Yeah, sure.
By the way, I have no idea about the games today. I did not watch any. I know I am a casual, very busy. I want to watch them, but I did watch a few of the games of the play-ins, not all of them. One thing I wanted to say was Team Liquid really showed that they deserve to be in Worlds, I think. They fucking crushed.
Minus the one game that they threw.
Yeah, that happens. Like in any competitive game or sport, there's going to be some fuck ups.
Yeah.
Basketball is a classic. I mean, a game of 7, like very rare people just win 4-0 and that's
Okay,
it.
okay. I understand that. Okay, but if we're staying on Team Liquid, we'll talk about the one L they took. They took the L to the bottom seed.
Yeah. For reference, I've only watched the North American team games because that's North America and I live here. So I only have knowledge
seen
on
most
that.
of the game, so I'll be discussing.
So
yeah.
yeah.
But sticking on Team Liquid, they stop everyone. They come in first through the first round robin, which means they're auto slotted into groups, so they didn't have to play the best of 5s. But they win all the games except they lose one game to basically. There's 10 teams, and I think INTZ is was ranked number 9 or something like that in the play-ins. So they lost. They beat the higher tier teams, but they end up losing randomly to one of the really bottom seed teams. But outside of that game, they do look really good. I'm kind of excited as an NA fan to see them play in the group stages.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see Team Liquid in. It's also very exciting to see TSM into Worlds. I know I don't want to talk too much about them, but I've always liked Unicorns of Love. I don't know why. I just thought the name was cool. And then when they first kind of came in, they were pretty decent. And then they kind of fell off. And then now they're in Worlds. So that's cool. And they did pretty good too.
Yeah.
I think with the Unicorns of Love thing, when they first hit into the scene, it was a few years back. They were probably like the EU LCS part. They were kind of like a meme team because like it's a unicorn. Their mascot's a big ass unicorn. They have like some outrageous fans who are really dedicated to the team. They dress up in like pink unicorns and stuff, and they're loud, obnoxious people. But the team overall stuff is really cool, and they were known for being like a super like a pretty good team, like super aggressive and just like going in there and just like start.
I remember when they first started, they had pretty crazy metas. Like they came in with weird comps that like did really well. That's my favorite part of Worlds in general. Is I feel like when you watch like Team Liquid, C9, TSM, it's like you're seeing almost the same game rehashed every time. They're doing the same picks and bans, same thing, because every region has their meta. And that's fine. I get that. I'm not hating on that. I just think that like World is when you're like, oh shit, now you're seeing like the Korean meta, the Chinese meta, the European meta. You might even see South American meta if they're in. It's crazy what can happen. So that's very fun to see these different champs come in that you're like, well, I haven't seen this champ's good, because you've never seen one in the playoffs or whatever in the LCS and it doesn't play them.
It wasn't that playstyle. Yeah. Speaking about that over the years, I think the regions that was doing that was the Vietnam region, and they came in and they're like super aggressive level 1 and 2s, and they just invade you and take all your shit, and then they'd dive you level 3, and then it was there. Yeah, Vietnam was like doing some crazy shit, and you wouldn't expect that from a minor region team, because you expect. I mean, the big regions are like what, NA, EU, and then China and Korea, basically, right? But you don't expect some minor region team to go in and stop all the major region teams, which is what Vietnam's done in the last.
It always seems like the minor regions always have a very different meta than like the big regions. Like they'll throw out like non-meta picks all the time. And it seems to work a lot of the times against some of the like not maybe top tier teams from the regions, but when they throw in like a brand support all of a sudden, and
people
don't expect it.
For it. Yeah,
and you don't see a lot from like the lower region teams, so like scouting is very different, I think, or they don't get a lot of focus because of their region, and then catches teams off guard a lot of the times.
Yeah, I think that's like comparison of like the talent pool, because I think in minor regions are like, I could be talking about my ass here, but I assume that like in minor regions, a team that that gets into Worlds is the top team in that region, and I'm pretty sure that team just stomps the entire region for like the entire season, basically. So maybe it's just like and like teams in like NA, if they have more time to adjust that play style, they'd probably be a lot better at it, and then like stuff like that. So let's see. The next team I want to talk about that got in, because we just discussed Team Liquid, Unicorns of Love. The next one I want to talk about is we'll talk about PSG real quick, which is a second seed from the PCS, which is a minor region, and this is kind of a crazy team, because in the play-ins they had 3 subs, because the players on their team had like visa issues and they couldn't quarantine in time or something like that. So they had to play in the play-ins to get into group stages with 3 subs. They stomp everyone. they're first seed in the group, and they auto pass into group stages. And now they're in group stages, and they have to kick those 3 out that they took.
I was
and they
gonna
go back
say
to the original roster.
I was gonna say, I mean, like, so you get in with 3 subs, and now you're stuck with this choice of having to kick them off, or
No, so
Yeah.
they're
Like-
forced to. They're forced to play with the old staff or the old.
oh, okay, is that part of the like league rules that you
Oh.
submit like a roster?
Well, it's
and
part of
you
it's
get-
part of the whole COVID thing. You know?
Bro, they gotta give those 3 guys that got COVID again.
Right? That's what
Yeah,
people were saying.
yeah.
Like
You guys got
just have
second
to get
COVID.
sick. Yeah.
Came back.
The visa, they lost their visas. They can't come anymore.
Wow.
So yeah.
So
I mean,
who are their subs? Do you know, or like at least like what lanes they played?
I think I know 2 of the subs were mid and jungle. I don't exactly remember the 3rd sub, but watching the games from PSG from the mid jungle duo that was subbed in, they're insane. They're
Have the subs played together prior to joining that?
So they
team?
were the 3rd or 4th seed from that region that didn't get into Worlds.
Oh, okay. So they took players from that team.
Yeah, they took players
Okay.
from that team, so they still had synergy, but they're obviously not with their whole team. So
Yeah.
basically, it was just mid and jungle from the subs. They're just smurfing on this entire group because like they were just rolling around, they were just roaming around, diving people, like 2v2ing people, and it's crazy because like. I mean, if you think of team dynamics, man, it's like you're playing with this team for the whole year, and you have like a set thing. You guys
Play
really
style,
chill
yeah.
out, yeah. You know what other people are gonna do, and then you're at Worlds, the biggest tournament of the year, and then you gotta sub these 3 people in. And no one expects this. No one expects this team to get out. Everyone expects them to be last, basically, right?
Yeah.
And they end up rolling over everyone basically and getting into the groups, which is just a story in itself. We will talk about their game that they had in groups probably a little later after I talk about the next team, which is LGD Gaming, which is the fourth seed from China. They had a very rough start. I think they went 1-3 in their first round robin, which means they barely didn't get last, which would auto kick them out of the play-ins. So then they got to play in the best of 5s, and they beat 2 best of 5s to get into groups. So they had a very rough start, and this is the 4th seed from China that everyone expected to like auto win group already, and like, I mean, they're from China. Everyone expects it to be really good, and they kind of shit the bed.
I mean, I expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, has this group been to Worlds before?
This specific roster. Sorry.
I mean, like player wise.
Oh yeah,
like-
so the LGD name has been to Worlds before. The last time they were I think, well, I don't know, a few years ago when they were at Worlds, they were I think they were like the number 1 seed out of China. They were expected to do super well, to be one of the tournament favorites, and they get kicked out in groups. They had the most disappointing year. They lost. Yeah, it was bad, and so like it's kind of a meme. It's like I think the meme is league's greatest disappointment or something like that. It's like it's pretty bad. So watching the the hype from LGD coming as the 4th seed from China go into play-ins, and like they're being hyped up to like auto win the groups and then get blasted like that. It was they're about to get memed on again. It was pretty bad. I mean, it was bad. I mean, they're still getting memed on, but they're at least in groups now.
So I guess then let's talk about today's games. Did they play today?
They did play today.
How'd they do?
Let's see. The LG. Okay, so we'll talk about this game. It's kind of out of order, but LGD played Genji today. Genji is the 3rd seed from Korea. It was. I watched all the games today. This was the 5th game of the day. It was the most competitive game that I think I saw all day. LGD. Spoiler again. LG did end up losing to Genji. But I am not super disappointed in them. They played
It's
better.
best of 5 though, right?
No, these are
No.
groups. So this one's
Oh, these are single games, huh?
Yeah,
yeah, so
single
it's like
games.
it's a round
Right.
robin. Yeah. You don't get into best of 5s until quarters and semis and
Right.
So it's right.
Okay.
But but they played better than I expected because seeing them from play-ins was kind of rough. They did do good in the best of 5s, but they did good. They kept up. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending what kind of your stance on the teams. Genji did pull it out, and then the first. I want to talk about the first game that was on today was FlyQuest, which is the number 3 seed from NA versus Top Esports, which is the number 1 seed from China, which is the tournament favorites basically. And
they looked that way during that game, by the way.
yeah, you definitely.
Or FlyQuest would. Yeah, it was spoiler alert. That game wasn't even close.
It was it was brutal.
Yeah.
It's how I feel every time NA goes against like Korea or China. They get stomped on.
Yeah.
Like you
I
watch
think
the games, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it's happening.
There was like, I think there was like a 2K gold lead like 14 minutes in or something. Like it was crazy.
It was bonkers and like.
That's one of those games when you're watching, you're like, all right, I'm gonna watch like YouTube videos right now.
Yeah, no, like there was at no point like, in games that like a team is behind, then they start like maybe winning like a team fight or two, and you're like, okay, like if they take a couple more objectives, they might have a shot, or like that team fight was like really close and like there's an opportunity here. There was absolutely none of that. Like it was just straight, just like watching FlyQuest run around and get assassinated and then
get stomped. It was bad.
Yeah.
Top Esports definitely looking like a tournament favorite. FlyQuest definitely looking like a number 3 seed.
Yeah, I hope I see more from the North American team because.
But
go on, Trent.
I would say the group that the FlyQuest and Top Esports is part of is an insane group because it has the number 1 seed from China, number 2 I think Damwon Game it's Dragon X, number 2 seed from Korea, and the 3rd seed that slotted into that group was Unicorns Glove, which is they're known for upsets. They're known for doing some crazy shit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, doesn't matter what group you're in. I mean, you gotta, if you're trying to go to Worlds, you gotta beat them all anyway. So.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Yeah.
As an NA fan, I think most of us are happy if they make that groups.
We're like, oh my god, you're in Worlds. It's like if the Dolphins didn't have a negative win-loss ratio, they'd be like, we win.
Yeah. It's like the Browns this year. They're positive. They're like 2-1, and you're like,
good.
Browns are 2-1. They could lose every game the rest of the season. They'd be like, we got the Super Bowl.
We were positive. We were positive one time this season.
We're basically the new Patriots.
Sorry, go ahead.
I gotta know though, how did TSM do? I can't wait anymore.
All right, so moving on past the other games, we're gonna move into the TSM Fnatic game because we're NA fans. I'm a TSM fanboy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I like TSM too, but they are upsetting.
TSM took an L today.
TSM and Worlds don't go together.
It's a weird mix. Well, okay, so I will talk about this game because this is the game I was most passionate about and the one I basically analyzed really in depth. And it's hard because Fnatic's jungler is self-made and he's a carry jungler, so he plays like things like Evelynn, Graves, and like I don't know if he plays Nelly, but he plays like really intense like feed me all the gold and I will carry the game. And he got to pick his Evelynn, which is like
Udyr.
No one plays Udyr. That's shit champion. But anyway, he got his Evelynn. This is and if you play against Evelynn in solo queue, it's pretty toxic if she gets ahead.
A good Evelynn is so annoying.
Yeah, it's pretty toxic because she's invisible and she just walks up to you, one shots you, and bails. And then
I thought Fnatic got Evelynn.
Yeah, Fnatic got Evelynn. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Self-made
okay.
On Fnatic got Evelynn, which is one of his top tier junglers.
TSM junglers are always usually very tanky.
Not this iteration of TSM.
Right, but I think usually they are. Like
not this iteration.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So anyway, they let Fnatic have Evelynn, which was like, I think the biggest it was the most obvious pain point that they had because they couldn't walk up to turrets, they couldn't walk into lane, they couldn't. It was struggling. They couldn't like push side lanes because 2v1 against Camille or Volibear Evelynn versus Camille is auto win versus the Broken Blade, the top laner for TSM did have an insane play when he was getting ganked by Evelynn.
He's good, man. Broken Blade's a beast. He usually always stomps his lane.
Yeah, he had an insane play and like turns his 2v1 gank into a 1-for-1, which is you'll take those. That's a win
all day.
The problem with the game is it just felt like that Broken Blade couldn't like really just push the lane and be like that carry because they funneled a bunch of resources in there, right? And it just seemed like he couldn't, either because he was scared of the Evelynn ganking him or whatever, but he couldn't push out the volley barrier, which means he didn't have silent pressure, which means Evelyn and everyone else is waiting in jungles, waiting for people to walk by and blast them.
Well,
And
they tried an invade right at the beginning of the game.
Right at the
and
beginning
then-
of the game, yeah.
And then they got counter invaded and lost red
Lost red
immediately,
and
then
kill, and Biofrost died.
and
Yeah.
kills and lost his raptors.
Yeah,
and they pretty much
so that
just-
means your jungler's like fucked for like the first like 5
Yeah,
minutes.
so I mean, so
Yeah.
a lot of critics will say that's a terrible play by TSM because like they invade red, right, and then like what you expect the other team to do when they know you're invading red is to counter invade you into your own red, right?
yeah, like
So-
that you basically trade reds.
Yeah, so that's what Fnatic did, and it just and Biofrost and Double Lift walk into the red side jungle, and just like
Oh,
it was like, oh, surprise, Fnatic's here. But I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it was gonna happen, like Fnatic was gonna be there. So as a spectator, it was the game was hard to watch, but I mean, I think it wasn't out of reach, and I think if Selfmade wasn't on Evelyn, we probably would have had a lot better chance and probably would have played a lot better.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds like if this like that whole because if they just didn't go in and get counter junk. Well, the counter invade isn't a big deal. It's not knowing they're gonna get counter invaded, going in, dying, giving up red
Yeah.
and raptors. I mean, like that's a huge loss.
Yeah, it stunted Spica, which is the TSM jungler. It
When
stunted
you're-
his.
Yeah, when you're because I played jungle a lot, and when you're a jungler and that happens, man, you're so behind for so long, and then and when you're in a world's class team, potentially it's not end of the world because you can still gank and you have double lift and or Bjergensen to rely on or Biofrost, but when you're a solo queue, man, now you're like, oh, these chumps are gonna fucking help me, and it's over.
FF15 didn't get it
Yeah,
out.
it's like, yeah, it's over.
Yeah, their bot lane didn't have a good time that game.
It wasn't a good time either. I think
No.
I think the Alistar pick was kind of weird because it's not like a typical Biofrost kind of pick, and it's like
Yeah. I think they just needed a tank because they had Camille top, and I think their jungle was Nidalee.
yeah, it was Nidalee.
Yeah.
I honestly the only problem with that game, I was like, I could accept Biofrost going Alistar, but it was just the Evelyn pick. It was so hard to deal with. And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I could feel for them just because I played against Evelyn and solo queue. It's like, well, I can't be like 3 feet from my turret, or I'm gonna die, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there was one point where Double If was by himself by wolves, and Evelyn just flashes over the wall, deletes him, and then just
Yeah, so
leaves.
the
And you're
wall
just
right
like-
outside the base, right outside the base, right? Yeah, Double going from mid lane to top lane,
Yeah.
and Evelyn just flashes over the wall, pulls on his whole combo, ults out right behind the wall, and he's done. It's
Yep.
like it
Yeah,
was
you-
like half a second. Too. It
You
was like half a
you
second.
hate to see it, man.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this game's not.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So hopefully NA pulls their head out of their ass.
And NA's not doing too hot, but usually there's one NA team that kind of
Pulls
gives
through.
us a.
And that was typically in the
gives us
past.
a-
That was Cloud9.
But it's game
Now
it's game one. So we
Yeah.
got time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
We
I
haven't-
think otherwise TSM looked okay. I think I think if they didn't have Evan, the game would have been a lot more competitive for sure.
for sure.
Uh,
We haven't
this
seen TL play too. So
Did they get
we still have
stomped
them.
on, or was it like?
It wasn't like a
kinda-
super. Like eventually, it hit a break point where it, like they just
Yeah, you just can't catch. you
But
can't
like
keep
for
up.
most of it, I think it was pretty competitive, and then it hit a break point.
Okay.
Yeah, I had hope in Broken Blade top lane to carry that game, but
Yeah,
I
it seemed
don't
like
know.
it just seemed like he was kind of scared. He can't.
Yeah.
separate the game, right. And,
I don't think they fed him enough resources up top. Like he's always up there by himself getting ganked, and there was never like a counter gank or like someone up there to help him. So
Yeah, it was
it's hard. And I mean, Bjerg was doing Bjerg things. It was the Syndra Lucian matchup.
Syndra and Lucian, and he ends
Yeah.
up like up on CS at like 15 minutes.
So I mean, he was doing his best, but I don't know. It felt the jungler was so far behind he couldn't help his lanes.
Yeah, that's a
so
big
they
deal.
just kind of stuck.
Yeah, I think
You're a
Just-
four.
yeah.
You're a four. When your jungler's that behind, you're a 4v5 for a little bit.
Yeah. So real quick discussion over the other games we didn't discuss. There was Dragon X versus Unicorns. Dragon X won that game, which is the second seed from Korea. That's not surprising because Unicorns is from Plains or from minor region. The next one is Rogue versus PSG, which is Rogue. That was also a stomp. Rogue stomped the shit out of PSG. Rogue is the third seed from Europe. Damwon Gaming versus JD Gaming. This is kind of like one of the big matches today. Damwon is number 1 seed from Korea. JD Gaming is from number 2 seed from China.
That's exciting.
Stomp. fucking stomp. It was a dirty stomp.
Damwon?
Damwon.
Damwon.
Yeah,
They're so
stomp.
good. I watched a few Damwon games like during the season, and they're so good.
Yeah,
It's scary.
Showmaker's insane. Nuguri's insane. Yeah, the whole team's just wild. And like it's actually because like in the past couple years, China has been like kind of like clear favorites. It seems like they've been like they stomp a lot, and like Korea's like kind of catch up. It seems like Demo Gaming is doing pretty good and maybe leading charge on this. We discussed Genji and LGD already, and yeah, we discussed the NA games. So tonight, I know as an NA fan, Liquid plays their game tonight, so we'll be excited to see that. Who else is playing tonight? G2 Esports is playing tonight. It's gonna be going. Genji and TSM also plays too. So
they're not playing like tonight or like 1 a.m. tonight.
It's 1 a.m.
like
I
1 a.m.
guess.
tonight.
Yeah. All it's China, so
Yeah.
Obviously.
Matt.
We'll catch up on that in VODs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to keep talking about that, or do we want to move on?
Nope. Just want to say.
Hope TSM does better, or TL, or FlyQuest. I would like
We're
to
all,
see.
as an NA fan, we're
TL.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, once Worlds comes into play, I'm like, instead I shift from TSM only to NA.
NA.
Hoping
Give me
NA
someone,
gets,
dude.
yeah.
Anyone.
We're voting for everybody.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's move into
unless it's TSM versus TL, then fuck you, TL.
So, do we want to move into maybe the Cyberpunk versus Shadowlands handling this coronavirus and their deadlines?
So to give some context to that, Cyberpunk 2077, there's an article recently released that said they're working 6 days a week. Their developers are working 6 days a week.
Everyone's working 6 days a week, and I wanted to also point out that video game programmers or makers and all that kind of stuff work excessive and crazy hours anyways. So when they're working 6 days a week, a month before the games, or a month and a half before the game's supposed to come out, I don't know, man.
So we have that, and then we have Shadowlands, who decided to postpone the game because of coronavirus.
I think you think it's actually coronavirus, or do you think that's just an easy like scapegoat?
I wouldn't say it's specifically coronavirus, but it's just like coronavirus affects a lot of things.
I do know that if someone like in a company, like say like I don't know, if my office someone were to get coronavirus, we all gotta like get out of town for a little bit, and that's just kind of how that is. So if that could happen to like a specific section of Blizzard, or not Blizzard, it is possible that could postpone something. I also think that games nowadays get postponed all the time, and there's usually the reasoning is we just kind of
quality.
Yeah, we want better quality, and we thought we could be done by now, but we weren't. I feel like, and people are usually on like all right, we get it, but that sucks. We wish you just would have gave us an extended deadline the first time. But if you're like, bro, Corona came, everyone's like,
no one's gonna question it.
No one's gonna be upset except for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I know
these two WoW heads. Yeah.
So the community. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Tran.
Okay. So from the community's perspective, I saw when they announced it. I was looking through my Twitter feed, and I saw it when they announced it, and I go into the comments. And the first thing I see is basically this guy who's cussing out Blizzard is like, "You motherfuckers! I took days off for this. Why can't you just fucking?" Yeah, and I was like,
"Put it out,
bruh." And at the same time, okay, so there's that spectrum of the community where like what the fuck? How are you not hitting this deadline? You had so much time to do this, and it's the other perspective, the other side of the spectrum, which is like,
make a good game.
Thanks, thank you for delaying the game and not rushing it, making sure there's a full product out. And it's just like, I mean, which side do you want to be on? I mean, I understand like there's deadlines and shit like that, but at the same time, we've had some games that are rushed and like released
trash.
It comes into the question like is Cyberpunk throwing themselves under the bus, and are they going to put out this game that was rushed and have like all these bugs, or just not live up to the expectations and hype? Because like working 6 hours a day has a detrimental effect to your health, to your mental health.
6 days a week, you mean?
Quality, 6 days a week. And just the quality of what you're making
I think the issue for me is that a month before a game releases, you should be fucking playing the game, being like, oh,
you should be
there's a little
testing,
bug here.
QA, QC type of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it should be. And it wasn't like a month ago, maybe less than a month ago, they took out portions of the game because people complained it might be too long. So I mean, like it seems like they're doing a lot of like extreme editing and programming very close to the deadline, and I think
Very close.
but the issue is if you delay, I think they put themselves in a rock and a hard place. You can't have fucking Keanu Reeves going on stage. They just had a commercial come out a few days ago of Keanu Reeves again and all this stuff and all this hype, and then be like, we're delaying it because people are gonna be like, what the fuck you mean you're delaying? Like they're now you're only getting the aggressive people because everyone's expecting this game because you've basically been like, we're done. We're just like, oh, Keanu and this game's dope and it's futuristic GTA or whatever it's supposed to be, and then you're like, we fucked up. Sorry, people are gonna be so upset, so they can't do that. But bro, if this game comes out and it's not ready, it sucks bad.
Yep.
This is gonna be bad.
It's hard for developers and stuff because I mean, like, yeah, they set very high expectations of here's this game, it's coming out. They have all this hype. They have all these investors who are expecting to like make profit off it at that time, get their money back, stuff like that, you know. And then deadline's coming up, and you're like, well. What the fuck are we gonna do now?
That's the real issue. Is games are so expensive now. Games cost millions now. So the issue is that like you're not like, and how business works is it's not like, you know, Blizzard's like, okay, cool, here's 10 million, pop, we paid it all, take your time. They have investors. There's probably loans involved. There's other things
money
involved.
Allocated. Yeah, for a certain amount.
Exactly, it's a certain amount of time.
Like, they have like a fiscal budget.
Yes, it's typically a promise of return and things like that. So that's where the deadline comes from. Part of me wishes that they would not spend less, but they would take if they're like, okay, with this much money and how much we're going to spend, it'll take 5 years to make this game. But okay. So let's add an additional 2 years right now.
Mm-hmm. And just and
if you cut the costs and not cut the exactly.
Right, and then that's great.
Because if you make it early and everything's done, then you could come out and fucking just be like Samuel L. Jackson and fucking Keanu Reeves and fucking I don't know whoever else is fucking like motherfucking snakes and blood game coming out, and everyone's like, oh my god, and then 10 days later the game is out and everyone's fucking hype and buys it. But when you're like hype, oh, we got fucking Adidas is making Cyberpunk shoes and Keanu Reeves is fucking sucking this dude's dick. And, it's like, oh my god, it's too fucking much. And then they're like, we have to delay the game. And they're like, okay, turn everything off. It's like, so bad.
Over-promise, under-deliver type of thing, you know.
So bad, man.
You just
and
set yourself up for failure that way.
Yep.
So do you think Cyberpunk should shove in 6 days a week, or they should try just delay? If it was in general, if it was any game, basically, I guess.
Delay
the game.
Delay the game.
Okay, does that change your opinion? So I just looked this up. According to Wiki, I don't know how, I hope this is dependable. It was announced in 2012. Does that change your opinion on the game at all?
No.
If we've already waited 8 years, I can wait 6 more months, man.
So here's the thing. Announcing... Okay. Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced when I was fucking born, alright? That's how fucking long we were waiting for that game. And they were showing gameplay like 5 years ago. And they had to delay the fuck out of it. And then after the game was released, like a few months later, they're like, hey guys, we got the code, we got the thumbs up to make the sequel. It's like, what the fuck do you mean you got the thumb? That's not done yet? Like, you're just like, how long am I gonna wait? Like, Final Fantasy VII came out so long ago, like in 96 or 7 or whatever like that, as a full game, 60 hours of gameplay. You know, you could even do more if you wanted to, or less if you're a goon. But point is that, like, everyone's going to eat up the remake, especially, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's a very cool game, very fleshed out, very nice. But to be like, oh, we're going to make the sequel now? It's like, bro, when am I going to be fucking 50 when the episode 3 comes out? It's like, what is this? I figured it'd be like, boom, the next year. We're not going to get the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake for another, like, 2 fucking years. And Bethesda did the same thing with Elder Scrolls 6 when they were like, Elder Scrolls 6. And they're like, that shit's not coming out to like 33,000, man.
Well, it sounds like you're fuming because people are getting dates, bro.
Yeah.
So, like,
I just wish they wouldn't fucking say anything. That's the thing. So Cyberpunk being like, we announced in 2012 doesn't mean jack shit to me because it could have been some fucking dude in his boxers being like, bro.
This game right
Space futuristic GTA, boom, Cyberpunk. And they were like, perfect, announce that shit. No team, no concept, just an idea, and the art and the logo, and that's what they went with.
here. What knew what the game was about? Just Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's why I think they probably dude, I had a dream. Cyberpunk. What's it about? No idea, but let's announce it. Like,
But
it's like in Starflight too. Like that's been announced for a long ass time as like this new like open world Skyrim, Fallout, but space-like thing. I mean, that thing's so far fucking away from being made. It's like, why do you even announce it? Probably because people like me fucking get all hyped up and talk about it.
I mean,
but I don't give a shit. I don't like it.
I mean, you can look at Apex. That game was never announced. They released they just dropped the beta. They just dropped the game, and no one knew it was coming. You had all these streamers streaming it, and that game did very well. Like, you don't have to like announce everything.
You don't gotta announce things 7 years in advance, bro.
I mean, it's got to be like a marketing tactic, right? So there's got to be stats around it where they.
I mean, there's definitely someone who gets paid a lot more money than I do for marketing for fucking video games. Be like, all right, guys, I know we're like 30 years out, but let's announce it. And they're like, brilliant.
Start building hype, you know. From this
We have all these game announcements. Like, we're not gonna keep track of like every single game announced for 5
Let's get
years,
Tom Holland as a 30-year-old. So 10 years from now, we'll have Tom Holland showcase the game. Well,
Yeah.
Did we tell Tom Holland that yet? No. But he will be showcasing it in 10 years.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my god. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I think it'll be fun. I think a lot of people like it, but I think the overhypedness will make a lot of the people say good, but overhyped, and that's honestly something that'll make me be like, nah, I'm not gonna buy it.
I can only hope that, I hope the developers are working extra time. I just hope they are working on a project that they want to work on, and I hope they do a good job. I just hope it's a game that the community appreciates through all their hard work. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always for delaying games, but I never want to.
I didn't make the decision. So if they're already going to work 6 days a week, I hope it's good.
I hope it's a good game, and I hope that the time that they put in shows, right? Like, and that date was worth it for everybody waiting for this game.
Also,
I'm gonna wait to buy it, but
I'm not very fucking happy with WoW being delayed, but I accept.
Did you take vacation time off?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Done. Good.
Because I would have fucking roasted you, bro.
Okay, so you guys got anything else to say about this subject?
No. Overhyped.
Okay. So next thing, maybe we should, I think, talk about. Maybe you want to talk about Sky Oblivion?
Yes. I want to do a quick recap. So this is, not a recap, but quick little thing about this. This is it's pretty old. It's been made out for a long time. It was pretty much released or started being made not too long after Skyrim was released. Someone was like, I loved Oblivion. I like the new, stuff they done for Skyrim, like the graphics and, all the UI and whatever. What if I use the same system but remade Oblivion? So this guy kind of did that. It was very clunky, and a whole team of developers and people and programmers and whatever came together. Now they're making this, and the only reason I'm very excited for this is because I think Elder Scrolls 6 is so far away from coming out. Like, I don't think it's coming out for 4 or 5 years. That this game, now that's the thing, is if this game comes out in 2 years, that's going to be a cool thing for these guys who have made this, for everyone to come in and just be like, whoa, remastered Oblivion. But these guys aren't just making it like look new. They are updating all the armor, making new armor, updating the creatures, making new creatures. They're making like all new. They're like, we are making high class cities with you'll see, you'll know it's a high class town because people are going to be wearing this kind of stuff. There's a big thing on YouTube about it. They're making mines, but they're gonna have, instead of just an empty mine with like a couple rats, it's gonna be like owned by a goblin squad or a bunch of minotaurs or some shit like that. So they're overhauling the game. So I think it'll be very cool. Me personally, Oblivion was very fun. Skyrim was very fun. I still hold Morrowind more to my heart than anything. I think to go into that, my issue with Oblivion and Skyrim was that it made it more closed off. What I mean is that, like in Morrowind, you could be level 1 and get Daedric armor. Very rare, pretty tough. You got to go to some remote fucking village and stab this dude in the back while he's sleeping. You get a Daedric like katana or some shit like that. You can get a cool sword, but like you were able to do it. Mm-hmm. Whereas in Oblivion, it was like you can't get this armor until level 30, which made it feel cheap.
More like linear, right?
Yes, very linear, which made it feel cheap because then like it's like I'm level 10. Oh, look, all this elven armor. Oh, I'm level 15. Oh my god, all this glass armor. I remember Morrowind. I spent more time just like trying to kill a guard in Morrowind to get his like cool like chitin armor, or sneak into like the gate. I forgot what it's called in Morrowind, and like trying to lockpick something that was master lockpicking for an hour, finally getting it with 100 lockpicks and stealing glass armor and being like level 5 with fucking full glass everything, stealing greater soul stones and selling it to the goblin in whatever town it was. Like I spent and I remember like you just make your own spell, cast levitate, and just fucking walk over a mountain. You go where the fuck you want. And I felt like Oblivion Skyrim made it more linear. I will say that the stories are better, and it's a very fun game. I enjoy them a lot. I had a great time playing all 3 of them, but I really, really enjoy just being like, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want.
You just want the opportunity to be a complete
Matt wants the freedom. And
I really enjoy that, and I like the fact, yeah. And Daedric armor was like serious shit. I didn't like how it was like, I just killed some Daedric dude and like I got it. I remember like Max like had to go. I was watching him play and he was a heavy armor guy. I was always a light armor guy. So like I just like stole the glass armor and I was like, I'm set. He had to go kill like Daedric princes and hope they dropped the Daedric armor. Took months for him to finally get the Daedric helmet to get fully decked out. And that's the kind of, I just like that old school hardcore feel. I don't like killing one Daedric dude because I'm level 20 being like, oh, I'm Daedric armor full decked now. Cool. So, but like I said, I went on a tangent. Sky Oblivion seems really cool. If it takes them too long, if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, no one's gonna give a fuck about that game because they're gonna be like, why would I play Oblivion when I got Elder Scrolls 6?
It has to be one of those interim games where it's like this game came out and everyone enjoys it because where they're waiting on the other game.
Yeah, so better if it comes out in 2 years, it should be perfect timing.
Banger.
Anything
you want to say about that, Ray? Anything you want to say about that?
I actually haven't played any of the Elder Scrolls games, so yeah, don't do that, Matt. Listen.
That's okay. I didn't get far in them. I did play them.
Yeah. I played like I played 10 minutes of Skyrim. Are you proud of me?
No.
Okay.
Listen,
whatever.
New World Alpha came out, so I don't know what you want me to do. And the beta.
Skyrim came out like 8 years ago. What the fuck?
I didn't have a computer back then.
Do we want to move on or?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's move on. I just wanted to touch on that. I'm just excited. I love Elder Scrolls, and I think it's cool that a whole community is doing that. Also, they were like, "Yo, if you're a programmer and you want to get in, like, see how it is developing a game with a full team, let us know." They're like very open to letting anyone come into it.
Right, we need people. We need warm bodies. Help.
That's probably what it was. They're like, we
working 6 days a week. All right.
Yeah, basically, okay. They're probably working more than that.
So in our earlier podcast, we mentioned, well, recently we've only really talked about kind of like gaming and like all that aspects. But then in our, I think our intro podcast, we also said that we kind of just talk about whatever the fuck we want. And so I think today we're going to bring in the aspect of traditional sports. And I think Ray wants to take it off and we'll talk about the NBA currently.
Yeah, so obviously NBA Finals has started. We have Lakers versus Miami, and I'm
wrong games.
I think we all, for me, I already know the Lakers are gonna win. Obviously, I want Miami to win.
I don't know, Jimmy Butler, baby.
I think they're 2-0 right now. Spoiler alert, by the way. I'm a big basketball fan, so being able to watch, basketball again because of COVID, shutting everything down has been a real treat for me.
Yeah, so it seems like the Lakers are just like, the powerhouse team, right?
Yeah,
Giving LeBron James like 3 months of like chill time was so bad because that's the issue is that he gets into the playoffs. He's like, I'm fucking tired, man.
my back hurts from carrying this team.
Yeah, so now he comes in fresh and he's like, I'm cool. He had a whole offseason. Now he's in the playoffs. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And the
He
guy
has Anthony Davis.
Yeah, and the guy's 35.
Yeah,
And the issue is that 35 is like old in sports, but it's only old in sports because once you hit the playoffs, like you get tired, and the younger guys when they're 25, 26 they can handle it a little bit more. But when you're 35, you're still in the peak of your fitness pretty much. And you get 3 months off, as long as you're not being an idiot, you are prime, baby. And he gets all the experience. He goes to the finals every fucking year. Like this guy is ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, LeBron's smurfing on everyone. So okay. So we know Lakers are the powerhouse team, but as far as Miami Heat go, do you have any star players that maybe aren't getting the spotlight?
Butler.
But I mean, Butler is finally getting his because I think he's deserved and he's worked pretty hard to get to this point and to be. I think he deserves to be in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
But that team has a lot of unknown players. We have a rookie like Tyler Hero, and I think Kendrick Nunn's also a rookie. Bam Adebayo is a sophomore.
Sorry, where's Tyler Hero coming from?
He is originally from Wisconsin, I think, and he played college ball at Kentucky. He was, I think, pretty highly rated coming out of his senior year in high school, and then didn't do so well in Kentucky. I don't think they played toward his style. Like he wasn't the star on the team necessarily.
Sure.
And then he got drafted, I think, pretty late, like 14th or 13th by Miami, and he had an okay rookie season, and then I don't know what happened in the playoffs, man, but he just started smurfing up people, dude. And shout out to him for doing his thing. And Kendrick Nunn, who's also a rookie. I don't know. That team's tough, but I just don't think they have like the experience and just the overall talent to match with the Lakers. You have Anthony Davis and LeBron James and
definitely a tough position for definitely a young group of players. Right?
LeBron James. So
it's tough, but it's nice seeing them.
So so you already said spoiler earlier. It was 2-0. Do you have a final prediction?
5-1, 6 or not 5-1.
5-1.
4-1, 4-2. And for the
I think the Lakers are gonna have 9 wins. And
9 wins.
Heat's
They're winning all the games.
The Heat's gonna have 2 losses.
Well, I saw on Twitter the other day Lakers in 6 was trending, so I assume everyone has Lakers in 6. So we'll go with the 4-2.
I'm saying Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5.
So moving on, that a big fight from last weekend.
I want to talk about that
versus the Costa fight.
So,
which is,
I think Adesanya fits perfectly with our podcast too, considering we're very nerd culture like. And that dude his earlier fights was like throwing fucking pokeballs at people that were knocked out. He wears it. He wears an Akatsuki robe and he does like hand signs. He's such a G man, and I will say the dude is extremely cocky, but he also. It's one of those like it's so I don't believe in that whole wishing things in the universe, but he does. He said years ago, I follow a podcast, Flagrant 2, that they talk to him all the time, like interview him personally, and he was like, I want to beat the fuck out of Costa because that dude's on roids and I want to prove it to everyone. And here we are, and he beat the shit out of him like that. Yeah. Like if you're a big UFC guy, you're like, what a great fight, so technical. If you're not a big UFC guy, which I'm not, like I watch it, it's fun, but I'm not like, I'm a spectator. It's kind of boring. He's kicked the shit out of them, then finally kicked him in the head and then whooped his ass. I wasn't like a brawl, which that's what I like to see personally. But yeah, I mean, technically, I mean, he just got torn apart, and
the leg, dude.
And I love how he called out his who was the guy he fought before, Romero. I like how he was like, you all thought that I wasn't shit after that fight. Oh, how he's so boring. Well, look at me now, baby. I'm fucking whooping ass again. Like, and now I think after Costa, I mean,
he's beaten a lot of people in his division. I don't know if there's a lot of challengers.
Yeah, now people have
Like-
to prove themselves because I think Costa was really the last one that he personally wanted to fight.
And
Because
that
he wants
I
to
don't
fight
know,
the
man.
best.
Costa didn't really put up much of a fight. Like,
Well,
it was
dude,
very one-sided.
He just got his ass.
It seemed like he
fucking
just
beat.
didn't have answers, dude. To like,
And he was showboating the whole time. How silly, man. And then he got butt fucked, pussy.
yikes. Okay.
But I will say Costa will whoop my ass off.
yeah, we're watching out. We might get him on the podcast. He might be
I don't think he can walk right now. I'm just saying.
Yo,
That leg-
I was trying to look up pictures of his leg afterwards. I couldn't find it, but that has to be hamburger meat.
Oh yeah, it's
That- yeah.
so bad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was real
I
bad.
think after he got knocked out, I think he just stayed on the ground. Like, he couldn't, like, stand
no.
up.
Dude.
Like,
Well, the podcast listeners like broke down the fight, and they're like, he just kicked a shot at his leg till he couldn't. You can't throw a jab anymore. You can't lead. Like you're
Hey,
fucked.
he can't put
Yeah.
weight on the leg, dude. It's done.
Like I think the only shot Costa had would to have just gone uber aggressive. Because
Yeah.
Adesanya has 8 inches on you, so all you can do is just get in there and be uber, like Tyson basically. Tyson
he-
didn't have
he-
reach; he just had that mean left hook and aggressiveness, and I think Costa just all he could have done was just hop in that bitch and go for it. Because if you stay outside, I mean, you're just gonna get picked apart.
Yeah, I don't know
Have your
how.
leg kick.
If that was gonna go 5 rounds, I don't know how he would. I don't know how that fight goes 5 rounds at all. Honestly, yeah, he was. Just,
It would have went like the Romero fight, which is he just gets picked apart. And honestly, Romero did better than Costa. Romero actually got some hits in.
Yeah. I mean, that was a very slow fight, and
It was boring. I agree.
yeah, it was boring.
but it went 5 rounds, right? I think it went 5 rounds.
Yeah, it went 5 rounds because no one did anything.
yeah.
It just threw a
Well,
couple
I
punches and then,
mean, yeah, Adesanya's not going to go in because here's the thing: you're going for wins. You're not going to appease me, who's never fucking done any sort of fighting in his life. So I
mean,
I'm
it's
not
like
gonna
how
judge.
Floyd Mayweather fights. I mean, he's very technical. He's not wild. He
Best
just scores
boxer
points,
ever, bro.
and that's it.
Undefeated.
And he wins.
Yeah, you win. That's it. Game over. Speaking of boxing, McGregor Pacquiao.
This is troll. It's so troll, man. This is the biggest money grab since. Well, I mean, it's McGregor. So
How did
It's the
McGregor
biggest
end up
money
getting
grab
another
since
boxing
Mayweather.
gig?
yeah,
I have no idea, but
after
everyone's gonna watch it because
it's
everyone wants to
money.
watch McGregor get his ass beat, and
It's
everyone wants
money.
to watch the off chance of McGregor getting a lucky hit.
I just don't
No,
get.
so-
It's just like weird. It's like, bro.
So Floyd has a very non-aggressive fight style, right? And I think he was playing with McGregor. I don't think Pacquiao is gonna. He's not gonna do that. He's not gonna run around the ring and let McGregor just swing at him.
I think Pacquiao's gonna whoop his ass
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
because McGregor didn't really get his ass beat. He just kind of got picked apart, and then that was the fight. I think Pacquiao is gonna whoop his ass.
Pacquiao is an aggressive boxer, very opposite of Floyd Mayweather. So it's gonna be a fun fight to watch.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I mean,
be
we
able-
all are.
I'm gonna be still
why
like.
they're-
This is fucking
that's
weird.
why they're holding this
I'm
fight.
gonna buy it on pay per view. I'm gonna watch it, and that's what it's gonna be.
But wait, okay. Speaking of Floyd Mayweather, isn't he fighting?
Logan Paul,
Oh,
which is
yeah, that's
so dumb. Logan
Even
Paul.
More memes, dude.
More of a troll fight.
But I would love to. I want to watch Logan Paul get his ass beat.
Oh yeah.
I love how people are like, but the weight class. I'm like, Logan Paul doesn't know how to fight though. Like,
Yeah, that guy lost to KSI.
yeah. I mean,
YouTuber.
Could Logan Paul beat me up? Of course, yes, I get it. But Mayweather, that's arguably the best boxer ever.
Yeah.
He's gonna whoop his ass. It's a money grab, and people are gonna do it because they don't like Logan Paul and they want to watch him get his ass beat. And Logan Paul is gonna make millions.
Yeah, I don't know, whoever's
I mean,
doing the marketing, they're
By the
already
way,
making money.
Pacquiao or McGregor or anyone else, you can whoop my ass and I'll get $1 million. Down.
Sign me up, baby. Let's do it.
Sign me up, man.
Yeah,
So I don't give a fuck.
I'm down.
I'm
Millions
totally
of dollars.
down.
I'll take a beating.
Brock
Yes.
Lesnar, let's do this. I think you're a pussy.
I'm not fighting Brock Lesnar
For $1 million? Give me $1 million. Fuck yeah, I pay off my student loans.
What is he like? 230, 250?
Stacked, just like
Yeah, I'll take
That's
one
gonna
punch.
sit on me and
One
fucking
punch.
suffocate me.
I'll get one punch, get $1 million, and then after I pay off my wife's nice student loans, then I'll be broke even.
yikes. Okay, yikes.
I mean, are we allowed to just get in there, throw in the towel, and then that's it?
No, you gotta
Okay.
get. Now you gotta get beat up.
You gotta get knocked out, dog. That's
I'm running in circles, man. Hands down.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna like run on the cage like ah!
Yeah.
Spider monkey. NFL, real quick.
Real quick, sure. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
I mean, Cam Newton just tested positive for coronavirus, and so did like
The
three
Titans.
of the Titans players. So
It'd be kind of weird to see how like the schedules work out and everything. Because like, what do they do if like a team?
I think they
I
delayed.
think they can't
just
play.
delayed. Yeah, they just delayed the game for a little bit.
They delay it or they just
The
forfeit?
Steelers and the Titans are still gonna play, so it's delayed.
I mean, you can, I guess, technically still test all the players prior to the game, right? I don't know, man. It doesn't
but-
seem like right now the NFL is gonna have a longevity this season.
It's not
if
looking
people-
good with people
if
getting
people-
infected.
Yeah, if people keep getting infected, it's just, I don't know.
I mean, a bunch of people in basketball got infected, but they were getting infected during the downtime.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure right now during the finals, I'm pretty sure they're just not testing people.
Yikes!
I mean, that's it's more controlled there though, right? They only allow certain. NFL doesn't have any restrictions on their players, right? In terms of
No, they do, and they don't like a lot of stadiums don't even allow anyone in.
okay.
There's restrictions. I mean, here's
But
the
they
thing:
were-
how many restrictions can you have when you're in a basketball or a basketball court, fucking rubbing up against each other? Same thing with a football court. I mean,
Well, I
it
mean,
is what it
in
is.
terms of like outside of that,
Like staff and everything. Or
like
Yeah.
staff and like you're in a controlled area, like they're in the bubble, and they don't let people in and out. Whereas NFL players, they're free to do whatever
Yeah.
outside of football, right?
yeah,
Mm.
I'm not too. I don't know. That's a good question. So
I don't know.
I think you
The
probably know
season's
more
gonna
about.
be interesting.
It will be.
Do you want to talk about the Cowboys record?
Anyways, so
They didn't have that good comeback though, right? Against the Falcons. We don't talk about the Falcons anymore.
Tom
Yikes.
Brady, very interesting. Buccaneers. I'd like to see. I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll do decent this year. I think this is the year that proves whether Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady's a good quarterback, but I think it's going to prove to a lot of people who don't like him whether he's a good quarterback or not. If that makes sense. Like, if he doesn't, if he doesn't get to the playoffs, people are going to say he sucks. And personally, I think Tom Brady should have retired with the Patriots. It's so
If he
weird.
doesn't get to the playoffs, yeah, he'll definitely get some flack. But I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's-
and he
it's
rightfully
Tom Brady.
so.
I mean,
Rightfully so.
How can you say he's not like one of the best like that's played the game?
Yeah, he's great. And honestly, the Buccaneers suck, and they're what 2-1 now.
I'm not a Patriots fan, by the way. I fucking hate Patriots.
Yeah, I know. Also, I think. Let's see what else. We're not talking about the Cowboys. Packers are popping off.
Packers are popping off. Watching the games and it's going great, man.
I also heard a rumor that Aaron Rodgers will act like his mic doesn't work to call his own plays.
It's Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
It's working, so
It's Aaron Rodgers, bro.
I'm like, what?
what's the play?
If I'm Matt LaFleur, who's the Packers head coach, I'm like, yo, yeah, call your own plays, dog. You're
What?
good.
You want me to do it? You want me to do a running back toss? Okay. All right. Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean,
Hail Mary.
It's like-
Okay.
well, it's your quarterback. Are you like?
You should have trust in your quarterback enough
Yeah.
for them to call. their own
Well,
play every
I
once in a
personally
while.
think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league right now. He is so good. He is.
So fucking good.
He is.
I mean,
so
Patrick
accurate,
Mahomes
so
is doing
precise.
some work right now.
Patrick Mahomes is also good.
So
It's like,
Mahomes is going to be the
different
new.
style, right?
Yeah, Mahomes is going to be. I give it to Aaron right now because he's only got a few years left. Mahomes though is top notch, man. It's his.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's sick calling it his league, and I mean rightfully so. He's crushing it, man.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't. I mean, you can't talk bad about the guy. I mean, he's smirching on people. So
Yeah.
Yeah, doing very good. Any other final thoughts? We are an hour and a half, so
Oh.
no, just going back to the league thing, and I hope for NA.
yep. Hope for an A.
Yep.
I'll
Hope for
make
an
a comment that we are now going to be recording on Saturdays. Episodes should probably still be released on the same time, so this is why we skipped a week. Because we wanted to bring Ray in. Also, we were changing days, so it was either record twice a week or just say fuck it and skip a week. And I think we're busy, so
Yeah.
So now we'll be still doing continual weekly podcasts. So like and subscribe. You can find us in any podcast that or any place that shows podcasts. We're on YouTube. And what else are we on? Oh, we're gonna get our own website and Facebook soon, right?
I know we're working on a website, Facebook. Not
We'll-
yet. I mean,
we'll be on multiple social medias eventually.
yeah.
We will be in. So as soon as we get all that set up, we will announce that we are on those social medias. But we are in the works to be.
Yeah.
We're working on them currently, and we're getting a logo set up. So we're on the way, boys and girls. Jay.
We're making it. We're making it.
Yeah. So like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, hide your kids, hide your wife, let everyone know.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Thanks, everybody.